All right, all right. Welcome to the show. Wow, and he is here early. Welcome to the show. We will be talking with horror with Haas, and he is very much like me. He likes to get there early, and you know the rule. If you guys have been here for the show for any length of time, you know the rule. Once a guest comes, we put him up. We don't make him wait. So, without without any ado, let's go get our guest, horror with Haas. All
Good evening.
right. You're an eager beaver today.
Yeah, I thought I'd try to get up here a little
Welcome to
early.
the show. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
That's all right. That's all right. Because the rule of thumb is that whoever whenever the guest gets here, we go ahead and we immediately bring them up because
Sure.
nobody wants to sit in there and wait for 15 minutes, or they have me jibber jabber. Um, Hi Samantha, how are you? Our friend Samantha is watching through Facebook.
Good evening,
Um,
Samantha.
Yeah, she was a guest on not that long ago, and she was a lot of fun. She's an actress based in Chicago. Uh,
Hmm.
Now with all the actors, everything pretty much is grounded to a halt. Uh, even
Right.
on uh, even on the even on the independent side, because like, a lot of those productions are they're both members and non-members. So that really sucks. But a
Yeah.
lot of actors are still working. They're still, going to classes. They're still doing table reads. They're still reading scripts. Um, you know, Let me get rid of that.
I hope they can get it settled soon, and it'll be, you know, equal pay for everybody that needs it. So
Yeah, I hope it settles too. When you do a show like this for any length of time, you not only get to know these people both as they're actors, but for some of them, you get to know them as friends,
hmm
and you get invested in their lives a little bit. You don't want them to suffer. I was talking to a former guest yesterday, and I just asked them how they're doing, and the first thing they said was, this is really hard financially.
right.
And I heard they quoted one of the studios, one of the people in the studio were saying how they were basically happy to wait out everybody.
hmm
They had all the money and resources, and they know that people will burn through their savings or what have you while on strike, and then what they'll do is they'll force them to the table, and they'll have to settle for what the studio wants to settle for, which is next to nothing.
Right.
So it's always like the actors to have that energy now because they're just new to the line, but the writers have been out there for a long time. They've
hmm
been out there for a while, and I really, really wish the directors had stayed strong, had actually not settled. I wish they would have stayed because if they would have got all three together, directors, writers, and actors together, united,
Yeah.
that would have forced the studios to come to the table and deal in good faith. You couldn't because you basically have just absolutely locked everything down. If they would have did that, if they would have all stayed together, they would have
hmm
locked everything down. But the director settled way too soon, and who knows what they settled for. But basically, they sold out the actors and the writers, in my opinion.
Right.
All right. Wow, we already got some people here. Steven's here from the Horror Freak 85.
Nice.
Did you see his announcement today, Haas?
I don't know if I saw it or not. I may have
So
missed that one.
so as you know, Steven does the House of Horrors, uh,
Yes.
and he coined the term Polonia Pals. He's interviewed tons of people from director Mark Polonia's
hmm
movies. He's seen them because you do Wild Eye Wednesdays.
Right.
And we've always been after to do an interview with Mark Polonia. He's been the white whale as far as Wild Eye or the Polonia Pals to get him. And I've been telling Steven for over a year, and like since he started the show, it's like you got to get Mark Polonia. And man, it's been hard as hell to get that guy down.
Yeah.
But recently he's been doing press, like, he's doing some other podcasts, and it's just like, well, what the hell is that all about? I mean, because no one has been a bigger champion as far as I'm concerned, and yes, that includes the Polonia podcast. But no one's been a bigger champion of Mark Polonia films than Steven and the House
Yeah,
of
I would
Horror.
agree with that.
And so I'm super stoked to take a little bit of his thunder, so to speak, to say that he finally got the interview with Mark Polonia, August 26th,
Okay.
live on the House of Horrors. Him and Echo Zero will be hosting the show and interviewing Mark Polonia. That is going to be bonkers. I hope we all turn out for that. Anybody who loves Wild Eye movies or bad shark movies or bad cocaine shark movies, you need to all roll out there and support that show.
Yeah.
I'm pretty stoked. I really am. That's a feather. So congratulations to you, Stephen, for landing the Polonia.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Anthony, how are you? Ant's here. Ant review things. Wow. What else do I have to say? Oh, yes, I'm supposed to hype this up. We are I'm glad to announce that our friend Rachel Deshane, who was a recent guest on the show, she's a singer-songwriter based out of St. Louis, and she recently was on the show, and she actually played this song on our show, but she released it. Her new single is called "Get Out of Soho." Man, that's a cool ass song too. Very Dresden Dolls feel to it when you hear it. Has a
Yeah.
really Do you know who the Dresden Dolls are?
I've heard of them before.
I was gonna say if you
Heard of them through an interview I saw Nardwar do, the guy up in Canada.
oh,
He was
okay.
he was doing an interview with a person. And he gave him some vinyls of the Dresden Dolls.
Oh man, that was the one band that if I would have stayed in California and I was, if I would have been in the business still, that would have been the one show that I would have went all balls out for the
Mm-hmm.
dress. Amanda Palmer is just an amazing poet, singer. Um, she has such a unique look, and she's got a hell of a voice. And Rachel's song very much reminded me of a Dresden Dolls Feel song. I could easily hear them singing this song, but Rachel did. Rachel wrote it and she sang it, and it is going to be on. It's going to be on Spotify, uh, Apple Music. It's going to be a video for her on her YouTube channel. So
Okay.
congratulations to Rachel. That single's going to be dropping on July 22nd. That single is going to be dropping on July 22nd. And
Yeah.
by at the end of the show, I will drop Rachel's link down there. All right. See, you caught me so early. I have to go through all my pre-show stuff
That's
now.
okay.
But tomorrow, we have a light week this week. We have, of course, we have you tonight, and then tomorrow we have Douglas Epps will be with us tomorrow, and he was the big bad guy in Bone Hill Road, and he also
Mm-hmm.
was playing NATO, and he's been in some couple of other new films that we'll talk about tomorrow, and yeah, he'll be here tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. I'm super happy to have him back. And Stephen is dropping more information here. Gabriella Pizzello from Stranger Things will be back, rescheduled for August 5th.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything there. I
I
hope.
saw where she had to reschedule because of something, but
Yeah, I don't have anything at all, so I am crystal clear for that show. Hi Sue, how are you? How are you? And of course, I will definitely be there for the Mark Pelodia because that interview actually falls on my birthday.
oh,
So
nice.
sort of like Steven's birthday present.
Good way to celebrate.
Um, so Haas, my first question to you came from our good friend Hobbs Horror. He said
Okay.
to ask you a question. He says that you have a podcast.
A podcast? Well, I have a show that I do with some friends. Usually on Fridays is when we do that, and it's more or less us just getting together and hanging out. These are some people I've known since like the early 2000s, most of them, and we actually met through YouTube, and we were in a totally different community uh, at one point, mainly dealing with like college sports and stuff. But anyways, that's what we do. We just hang out. Sometimes we do like trivia and different games and music trivia, different stuff like that. But just basically just hanging out and enjoying
Um,
time together.
I heard two words in there that got me like really. So college sports
Hmm.
are we talking college football maybe?
Yes, college football primarily, but then also I followed also basketball, baseball, different things, but yeah, mostly college football.
I could tell by your accent that you're a Northern fan, so you're probably a big Michigan fan or Ohio State fan, right?
No, sir. Since I was born and raised in Alabama, that's there's usually one or two choices there. So
That's
I
right.
went with the one out of Tuscaloosa. So
War Eagle, right?
no,
No, what?
I went with the Crimson Tide. So that's
What about the Blazers or the Trojans? They're down
well,
there.
that's true. There are other. I guess I just think of the big two when it comes to Division One. So
That's right. I've been down to Alabama, and rest assured, I can tell you that college football fandom, there's no crazier fans than fans in Alabama. Um, that was over, that was like 35 years ago, and it's still crazy today. Um, Now, have you been or have you always did you grow up in Alabama?
yes, I was my my family. They settled in the late '70s after my father got out of the service, and uh, he built a home right near where my grandmother lived, his mother, and I just pretty much grew up in the what would be considered the country, and uh, I've lived a few other places as I've grown, but still always stayed or come back to the state. So, but
Oh,
yeah,
so you lived out of Alabama for a while.
I did. I moved to Tennessee for a while, and
Oh,
and
man. So like, did you get like itchy fingers and hands on the third Saturday of October?
it was always interesting, that's for sure. But I'm a pretty tame fan. I'm not. I don't get too wild. I mean, it's win or
Mm.
lose. I'm okay. I'm not going to get upset or you know not
Unless you,
talk trash too much.
yeah, yeah. You know who talks a lot of trash? I tell you who talks a lot of trash. Hobbs talks a lot of trash. I'm telling you, I'm a peaceful fan. I like talking about, my teams and my players and whatnot. But
Hmm.
boy, oh boy, do I get shit from Hobbs. I mean, he just rails on me all the time. Um,
I guess the more y'all know each other, y'all kind of know you can push the boundaries a little bit more, right?
you know, and quite honestly, it's really the other way around because I ride his ass. I ride his ass. I'm the one that's talked trash. I admit it. I can't. I have to come clean with you, Haas. I have to come clean. So yeah, what's funny? It's like it was funny because I follow San Jose State football, and I've told the story before, but so San Jose got a game with they got a game with Alabama.
Hmm.
So they call those things body bags and body bag games. Yeah, you see, you know a lot more than you let on. I can hear that
Yeah.
laugh. You know what those
Yes,
are?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
We go down to Alabama, and most of the time when teams like San Jose State, the goal is to score and not to get hurt. So a lot
Hmm.
of times a team like San Jose State will go in there and they'll run the most basic vanilla offense because they're not there to win. They're there to survive.
Right.
And so the first quarter, Alabama scores the first touchdown, and San Jose drives for their first drive, and they get a field goal. So I'm telling my wife about this. I'm like, and so the next week they had a picture of Trent Richardson. He's running right, and on the Sports Illustrated, and I was saying, oh, because I told my wife that they're playing Alabama, and I was looking at the cover of Sports Illustrated, and there's Trent Richardson, and I'm looking at it, reading about the game in Sports Illustrated, and my wife comes up and says, isn't that your team on the cover of Sports Illustrated? And I said, yeah. It's just, you want to get it? You want to go ahead and buy it?
Right.
And the thing is, it shows Trent Richardson's running right down the middle of the field, and there's two of the San Jose State guys, tacklers. They're on the ground face down, and I'm going like, yeah, no, thanks. I'm good, honey. I'm good.
Yeah, right. That's not as good a look as you'd like for your team.
No. I was so happy. Hi, Elaine. How are you? Hi, Anna. Oh wow, we got a lot of people coming out. Hi, Sarah.
Oh
How are
yes.
you?
Hello.
People are rolling out for you. This is awesome. Thank you
Well,
guys so much.
I really appreciate it because I'm considering all the great guests you have on here. I'm kind of a nobody, so
Oh,
I
that's not true.
appreciate it though.
Oh my gosh, that's not true. Everybody here knows you and respects you. I do. I love your video. I love your channel. I love the way you run it. Um, I also have to say that we have to induct you into the Boutique Ballas Hall of Fame. Along with
Okay.
me and Bones, Boutique Ballas. Uh,
Right.
uh, you, you know what? Because you do Wild Eye Wednesdays. You do
Mm-hmm.
Dollar Tree Theater. How could we not just actually embrace you for that? You know. So you mentioned you were on a college community before, a college sports community, but then
Mm-hmm.
you split on over to movies. Um, how long ago was that, and why did you decide to change?
Well, it's really been within the past few years. I just kind of had been with it for a while, and I just wanted to change something I was more passionate about. I've always been a fan of movies and cinema, uh, even further back than even football. Just enjoyed watching. Like one of the first VHS tapes I can remember ever getting was the first Michael Keaton Batman. And getting that on Christmas and getting to watch that over and over again as a young kid. It was something about it. I was hooked from then on out, and it started with VHS, and then has progressed on and on now till we're up to 4K. So uh, it's been a lot of years of collecting and watching many different types of films, not just horror, but horror happens to be my favorite of the genres. But I enjoy films of all different genres and all different budgets, whether it's the blockbusters or the shoestring budgets.
Oh
I
yeah,
can appreciate them all, and I find enjoyment out of them. So
yeah, because you are a dollar, like, not only do you review Dollar Tree Theater, but you are I would say, like, I call us, call myself and others, bargain hunters. That's what we do.
yep,
We can't afford to go out there. It's something, it's like I see a lot of the bigger channels out there, and they're running the Vinegar Syndrome sales and stuff like that. I love the people running the channels, like like Keith from Mid Level Media, and Jose from Master Chaos and whatnot. I love those guys. Those guys are awesome, and I just can't go to their videos when they do that, because I can't. It's like, it's unrealistic just to even go over there and find deals. I can't really find anything I can afford. It's like
right,
someone comes out there and says, "So I got a $40 demon win," and to myself, I'm equating that to, like, that's $40. That'll probably be like 5 or 6 trips to the library for me.
right, yeah.
And
Your
then
library hauls are epic.
uh, exactly, and some of your hauls that you get from Dollar Tree and your bargain hunting are also epic. I see you with nice stacks of movies, and it's just like, hell yeah. Haas didn't pay all that much for it, and I
No.
appreciate. To me, it's more fun to hunt. It's like, that's what gets me, is the hunt.
Yes, indeed. I appreciate the hunt and just getting to go different places. Maybe if I'm on vacation or wherever, I'll drop in places just see what they have, because different places have different selections.
Where are some of the places that you go to? I mean, do you have certain stores or certain stops? Um, Sarah's mentioning that you have an amazing Screen Factory collection. That
I do have quite a few. That one was one I started quite a while back, and yeah, so I have amassed quite a few Screen Factory titles. So yeah,
now,
mostly waiting until they have sales and stuff, because now they've got the starting price is usually about $36, I think, for most
I just can't. I
of the
just can't.
newer. They're doing basically 4K releases of ones they've already released. So
I don't. I just can't understand how. I mean, and that's not even including the shipping.
right.
$36 plus the shipping.
Hmm.
It's like, well, I just spent $36 with you. Don't you think that would be worth a free shipping? Can't you can't you ship that to me for free?
Yeah.
It's like $36. Come on.
Yeah.
Uh, hey, Jason. Hey, welcome, my friend. Glad you're here, Jason. The nice one slides on in. Seen a lot of new faces here tonight. I really appreciate it too. I
Yeah.
really do. I'm glad you guys are coming on in. We are talking, of course, with Haas from Horror with Haas, a fellow community member, cinephile, horror fan, and of course, now that I know that see, Steven from Desert Adventures, uh, uh, prices are absolutely crazy. I remember going inside a Target about a year ago or so, back when they had movies.
Right.
So I went in there and I was looking for a most promising woman. So, I didn't know when the library would get it or if it would get it. So I decided I was going to go ahead and check out the prices at Target. And I
Hmm.
was happy with the DVD. I wasn't really, too worried about anything else. I go inside there and I'm expecting it to see it there for like 16.99, maybe 15.99. I go in there and they're charging $28 for a DVD. And I'm going like, who
Yeah.
charges $28 for a DVD anymore? Well, of course,
That's wild. Yeah.
and of course now you go to a Screen Factory or whatnot, and then I obviously did passed on that. I ended up getting it. Actually ended up getting it on eBay for $10.
Hmm.
And of course, the bane of a collector is right, Haas. So the T-shirt that every community member should be a T-shirt that says, "I have it, but I haven't washed it yet."
Yeah. I've got a lot of those.
I mean, would you be a candidate for a T-shirt like that? A little shot
Definitely.
glass,
Definitely.
Yeah, me too. It's crazy. Um, you go out there and you get the mail and you do your haul video. You ever just done those haul videos and you do it and you look at it and you go like, okay, I just got done grabbing all these new stuff now, and then this happened to me last weekend. So okay, so tell me if this happens to you. Do you ever find yourself like, okay, I got nothing to do for a couple hours. What can I watch? Oh yeah, I'll go over that haul video. I'll go to that haul stack. I got that watch list and watch and pick out a movie from there.
Hmm.
Wait a minute, maybe I'll just go in and pick an old favorite. Hey, let's watch Friday the 13th for the thousandth time, right?
Right.
Right? Is that you find yourself like, instead of going to the new movie that you got $36, 36 or what, but then you go back to the old favorite. It's almost like comfort food. It's like, okay, I'm
Yes.
gonna go watch a Jason movie. Why is that?
I think it's just how the mood strikes you on that particular day or time. It's just something might enter your mind, or you might see something scrolling through uh, your feed or something, and it brings to mind, oh yeah, I haven't watched that in a while. And you just kind of get that itch. You want to watch it again, even though you've seen it a bunch of times. And John Carpenter's The Thing is one of those for me, because I've seen it many times over, but I can still sit down and watch it and be just as entertained as the first time. So
Yeah, that happened to me. I'm sitting here, I'm doing well. I watch, and I'm going to be posting this up after our interview. But I watched the Clash of the Titans from in 1981,
Hmm.
Haven't seen it since it came out. So I got a copy of it. I got it from the library, and I'm going, I'm gonna watch this. I haven't seen it forever. Watched it, enjoyed the hell out of it. So I'm like, hell yeah. So I go ahead and like, okay, now I'm in a mood. I'm gonna go ahead and start watch something new. I'm gonna go down and do it again. So I
Right.
go down Saturday. On Saturday, I grabbed the cold drink, sat down, watched Constantine for like the 30th time. I'm like, why am I watching Constantine? I've heard it's a great movie. It's one of my favorites, but why am I watching this again? I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, how many films do you think that you have in your collection?
Oh gosh. It's going to be on up there. I'd say. Well, I know as far as watched films on Letterbox, I'm over close to 1,800, but that's just watched films. But I would say I'm at least over 700 or more. I would say probably total. If you count everything, but
So you have that's a lot of movies. 700 is that's very worthy,
yeah.
very worthy. Uh, and of course, all the Screen Factories. How many of those are IFC and IFC Midnight? Because that'll come.
Well, I've gotten quite a few of them. There's still some I need to get, but yeah, I definitely check those out. I think the Midnight Man. I think that was one that I had gotten not too terribly long ago, and it's really good. I enjoyed it a lot.
It is really good.
Hmm.
It's nice to be able to tell fans that Robert England does other things other than Freddie.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people, honestly, honest to heaven, if you ask most horror fans, if he actually did, if he asked uh, 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 to ask them to name not five other Robert England movies, you know, in a room, empty room, say name me five other Robert England movies, they would be hard pressed to name five.
Yeah, he's done quite a few different
That's,
things, and
yeah.
you
But a
know,
lot of people don't. They don't see it. They don't watch it. They watch the old ones. They watch the Nightmare on Elm Street. But he's done a ton of other films that people don't even know about. Do you think sometimes fans get super? I mean, you know, let's put it this way: you and I are both college football fans, so
hmm
you know the term "fair weather fan."
right.
Do you think today's horror? Do you think horror fandom is based on that? I mean, do you feel like when you watch some of the live streams and some of the conversations people have, some of the conversations they have or reviews, do you find them to be like fair weather fans? Like they only talk about what's right there. They don't go deep into horror as much as you think they would.
I think it's kind of a pitfall a lot of people can fall into about just only talking about the big studio releases, the ones that get the most notoriety, and not really delving into other films, just writing them off as, well, this is a rip off of this, or this is, since it's not a good budget, it's terrible. This acting or the special effects weren't great, or instead of just appreciating it for what it is, and I think that's a big problem because even with younger movie fans, collectors that I've seen on YouTube, there's like the staples. A lot of them will have. They'll have the Nightmare on Elm Street. They'll have Friday 13th. They'll have Halloween, and then beyond that, it's newer stuff that's coming out. A lot of the ones that rely on jump scares and things like that. But typically, that's what you see is a lot of people having just the big studio releases and not really getting something like the Wild Eye titles, or even something you'd find at a Dollar Tree, like the one I did, the Kill or Be Killed. That review I did for that.
I mean, our friend Steven from Desert Adventures, Arizona. Some great movies just stick with you and are never a waste of time rewatching. An unwatched movie is a risk, a time. Yeah, that's a valid point.
Yeah.
Um, how do you shop for your horror? I mean, when you go out there and you're looking, what do you look for in a horror movie yourself? Like, because you do a lot of blind buying. I mean, you are a good blind buyer. So
Well,
how do you do that?
a lot of times the cover art will get me first. Like, say for instance, uh, this one right here, the Tooth Fairy. She's here to collect, and this is the first in a series of films that Louisa Warren did, who she's uh, a British,
Uh,
filmmaker, producer, and that something like that. That's I'm like, whoa! And I look at the cast. And of course, I don't know any of these people, but I'm like, it looks interesting to me, so I'll give it a shot. And
okay,
then
yeah.
and the
Um,
next thing you know, then I'm getting the next one, the Root of Evil. Then there's the Last Extraction, which wasn't the last movie, but and then you have the Queen of Pain. So see, they're
God,
all kind of
I didn't even know I didn't know she had made four of them.
yeah. And that's just what I did. I got started with one, and I'm like, well, let's see if there's other ones. And I'm like, oh, there's this many. I'll go ahead and get those too. Just check them out.
Now, do you find yourself when you follow that out? Do you end up following the director, or do you feel like, or are you just following it because you want to complete the series?
Well, kind of a bit of both because I did notice like that she had done some. I think it
Yep.
was Scarecrow films that she did, and I have. I think I have a couple of those as well. And if the cover art doesn't get me, usually it's the a cast member. Like I mentioned, I show Kill or Be Killed. One of the main reasons I got it is because Michael Berryman has a role in it, and I'm a big fan of his. I think he's really an underappreciated character actor. He's been in a lot of different films, spanning a lot of different time, and I think he does great. He's done great in every role I've seen him in, even if it's just a little intro, uh, like in the Teenage Exorcist movie that I know Hobbs did a review for. He just has a small role there at the beginning, but it was enough to make me laugh, and he did a great job, I think. So,
As a collector, though, when you buy a movie like that, you see like I'm like that too. I look for the actors in the movie, uh,
hmm
look for the director, and then if possibly maybe a screenwriter. Uh, but I also know that as horror, independent horror fan, I know now that obviously when you see icons on the cover of the movie, now just to take it with a grain of salt. Like, okay, yes, they're advertising, Danny Trujillo or Robert England or Robert Crampton, but they're only going to be there for like a minute or two, maybe
yeah,
one or two scenes, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating because I look at those movies and I immediately discount them to like, I'll get that when it hits the Dollar Tree. I'm not going to invest $10, at Walmart to get it when I can get it when I can see that over at Dollar Tree. And I
hmm
know it seems like at the saying that like, wow, you're not really supporting the filmmakers. Well, they're not really supporting me. They're not supporting the viewers. It takes to me it takes courage for a director to sit there, and we talked to a few who have done this that have maybe their big name actor comes in for that one scene, but there's
hmm
been times where directors will come in there and turn around and give that icon, a horror star, a worthy scene, a worthy bit of dialogue, maybe more than one scene, maybe a support role, and then then when you do vest that $10, you can actually see the person you want to see more than just for like, all right, you guys, do you guys want to live forever, and then gets killed, like,
right.
I spent $10 for that. I'm not really, I mean, now we have Tubi in a sense that Tubi's running a lot of new films and whatnot. And it's a great place to see it. And, to see a film like that, and then mark it down, and then go check and see if then you go to eBay or you go to Amazon and see if there's a physical copy, and then you
Mm-hmm.
can go ahead and buy it, and you can buy it for maybe a little cheaper price, and you can support the film director. But I want, if you're advertising a big name, Robert England. Like Robert England is a star in the Midnight Man. He's not just there
Right.
for the DVD cover. He's a key. He's a main support. Hi Suzanne. And Jason mentions he loves Tubi. Yes, yes. I mean, yeah. I
Oh
have to
yeah.
admit, Tubi. I really enjoy Tubi quite a bit. Uh,
Tubi's great. It sure is.
it really is. It gives a lot of. It's sort of like Amazon back in the day. Did you used to watch Amazon Prime back when they first started running movies?
Not initially, I didn't. Mm-mm.
Um, well, do you stream now, or are you just strictly a physical?
I do stream now. There's been quite a few that I wait till they come to like Peacock or whatever, and I'll check them out first before I purchase it. Because usually they'll get there before the physical release comes out, and then I can kind of gauge and decide am I going to invest that money in the release or not. Uh, and with so many of them being bare bones releases these days, I mean, it's like I love special features, and I think most of us film lovers all do. And so, like, I like the behind the scenes stuff. I like getting to hear the commentaries where you can hear some behind the scenes stories that you would not know otherwise. And so, if you won't watch it streaming and just see the movie, and you see, oh, well, it doesn't have any special features. Do I really want to buy it? Am I going to watch this again or not? So you kind of decide beforehand.
See, Elaine mentions that she does not do well on Amazon Prime. Mostly series to me. Mostly series to me. I have Netflix. They have horror from around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do. And yeah, I love that aspect of that. Um, like you're collecting Screen Factory, and I gotta hype this up again. I've been doing it the last 3-4 weeks, but Cinephobia releasing is now up and running. It used to be known as Art Exploitation.
Mm-hmm.
Got Lorber, the owner of Art Exploitation, rejumped himself, restarted his company underneath Cinephobia releasing, and then one of the best haul videos I ever got, because you know who Platex times two is, right, Jonathan?
Do me or
Yeah, do you know who Platex 2 is?
uh, I don't know that I do.
Oh my gosh, he's very much he's like us. I'll send it to you through Instagram. He
Okay.
he's a bargain hunter like you and I. He's all about the bargain. Um, there's another guy too named Peppermint Tribe. That guy, that guy's king of Dollar Tree. Uh, he truly is. I don't know how he does it. Well, I do. He goes to every single Dollar Tree within his area. He can go as many as 30 a day. I couldn't
Oh,
do I couldn't do that. I might do 4 or 5,
yeah.
but yeah, I can't do 30.
4 or 5 is about my range. Yeah.
That's about my range too. I'd be, yeah, it's just a little bit, because then it starts the cost become, you go in there for the bargains, but then you're driving around on a full tank of gas, driving around
Yeah.
trying to collect $1 movies. It sort of defeats its purpose.
Right.
Um, okay, Hobbs mentioned something too before I get to his other question.
Okay.
Um, let's see, he mentioned, Jason mentioned, okay, let me go back. Man, I'm getting target fixated here. Jason, the nice one, mentions he's a huge fan of the Omen franchise, but a while back I found a fourth film I didn't know, which was a low budget made for TV film, uh, starring Faye Dunaway, and he enjoyed
Hmm.
Discovery. Yeah, isn't that the coolest? That's where did you find that copy at, Jason? Was that on Tubi, or did you find it like I guess now the bargain hunting is. I'm not sure if Dollar Tree's going to be coming back with their movies. I have not seen a fresh Dollar Tree wave since November.
I saw a few new titles this last week or so that I checked, but it's still not really a lot. It's mostly some of the same old ones they've had for a while. But I did notice a few, about maybe 4 or 5
Yeah.
new ones that I'd not seen before.
Yeah, Dave, it felt like every store got one box, one little
Yeah.
box, all they got. There wasn't like, enough for a weekly special. It's like, okay, we got a little box, just throw it in there because I got 4 the other week, and I'm like, man, that's tiny. Where
Mm-hmm.
I I think I got mine. Who might have been you actually? I might have got that from you when you did your haul video. I,
Okay.
yeah, because you mentioned fresh titles from Dollar Tree, and I think that's the reason why it got me up and running to
Yeah.
go check it out. Yeah, but no waves, no new ones, and I haven't really seen anybody since talk about it. Like, hey, there's new waves from Dollar Tree. Um, let's see. Yeah, that's awesome. Let's see. Hobbs mentions The Midnight Man, Phantom of the Opera, Eaten Alive, Urban Legend, Alice, Galaxy of Terrors. He's got all day. Those are all the V. Oh, Robert England. He's mentioning Robert England, all the movies. Yeah, well, that's because you're a true horror fan, Hobbs.
Well, I bought a movie not too long ago. It's an older one. He was in. Uh, he plays just a smaller role, but it was called The Great Smoky Roadblock. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if you've ever heard of that, but it's a road movie, and he's someone that gets picked up to go on the ride, and it's a totally different character than anything I'd seen Robert Englund play before. But,
Yeah, yeah. I have heard of that movie. It was I think it was I want to say it was one of those running from Smokey type movies. Like a Smokey and the Bandit type. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Let's see. Hobbs has 2 questions for you. He goes, Hobbs, I have 2 questions. Can you tell us about the podcast that you're on? And number 2, what is your favorite Halloween-based film? So, do your friends are you doing a live stream on YouTube every Friday?
Yeah, usually every Friday. We some used to sometimes do them on Wednesday nights as well, but it's uh, usually doesn't start till about 10 because that's when everybody can get there and get the kids to bed or whatever it happens to be, and then we usually go for at least an hour or so, and then of course they like to hang out afterwards. I'm not usually able to do that during the week because of my work schedule, but yeah, that's usually it. Just at least one day a week on Fridays. So, but like I mentioned earlier, it's just more or less us getting together and doing something. Whether it be playing music and seeing who can guess it first, or actual having trivia from movies or TV or whatnot. Just something fun like that.
Who do you do the show with?
Well, it's usually about there's 3 or 4 of us steady that do it, and again, they're people that was from that other community, so they don't make videos outside of that, but uh, we have probably about uh, 6 other. I think there's 6 other guys. We got one girl, and we're all from that community, and we just like I said, either do the shows together or we'll just hang out sometimes on the weekends. I guess they have like a old stream yard or something, and we just all get in there and talk about what's going on during the week or something.
So it's pretty relaxing, huh? How long have you guys been doing this for?
Well, it's been quite a while now. I mean, it actually goes back to I was even in that other community. So um, I'd say at least uh, 7, 8 years plus. So.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, how do you like your experience in the YouTube horror community? I mean,
Oh, it's great, and I'm really appreciative of all the help that I've gotten. And Hobbs was one of the first ones to say I'll get your name of your channel out there, and he just did that. It just shows the type of person Hobbs is. I mean, he's a great person, and you yourself and not to mention others. You know, Horror Man, Terrific
Jason.
Nightmares. You know, Mr. Bones, all different ones. I don't want to not mention somebody because there's so many of you, and I try my best to watch everybody's videos, and I don't always comment, but I at least try to get in there, get a watch, give it a like, and
Yeah,
show support to all the ones that have been supporting me, and you know,
I
I just
noticed.
try to do that.
I've noticed Jason has been over your page many times, leaving comments. He's also a fellow IFC fanatic too.
Mm-hmm.
He's a huge IFC guy. Um, uh, so, what are some of the favorite films that you watched as growing up? Not necessarily in your collection, but what are some of the films that got you going into horror? I mean, um, and do you feel like does your wife like watching horror films with you or no?
Well, I'm just single, so it's
Oh, okay.
just me mostly. But I grew up watching a lot of horror movies with my brothers and sisters, and then a couple of my nieces that were the same age as me. We would get together on a weekend and just rent movies and sit there and watch them. Sit up till late watching them or whatever. And the horror movies, you know, like Nightmare on Elm Street was one of the first ones I ever saw. I was actually too young to have seen it, to be honest. Uh, but yeah, it was just something that they were going to sit up and watch it. And they let us younger ones come in there with them. So I was kind of got hooked from there, though. Just that that whole idea of this evil being or this thing that could come and attack you. You know, it's just I don't know. That was where it started, I guess.
Jason mentioned about the Omen. He says he found it on Screen Factory. Only had the entire franchise, including the remake, which I like as well, for $55. Now that'd be about 11 trips to the library for me. Uh, I
Yeah.
saved a few paychecks and got it. I'm not immune to that. I actually have a couple of box sets that I got courtesy of Heroic Waffles. Uh,
Hmm.
One that got me into buying the Screen Factory Friday the 13th, which I'm internally it will always be glad that he did. It was a great deal. And then I also picked up the Halloween. Um, I actually picked up Halloween, but it's an Italian release, so I have to get a all region player for that. See, Suzanne mentions that horror films are her favorites, which I did not know about, especially B movies. Jim can't relate. You know what? I don't. I think I think what really about what makes horror movies so cool. I think what it is, it's the imagination that sparks it. Horror films. I don't know. You would think the fantasy would, but I think horror films sparks the imagination more than any other film genre.
Yeah, I mean, because just things that you wouldn't think was possible can be possible, and these different worlds that these movies take place in, and some of them being more based in reality. You know, the Scream franchise. I guess a lot of people's been buzzing about that here recently. But then you have other stuff like you know, say uh, this impact. This is an impact event. You know, this is a
Right.
apocalyptic type horror movie. And again, it was one I got because of Michael Berryman being on the cover. Uh, but yeah, I mean, it's not something that's actually happened, but I mean, it's definitely something people think about. If the apocalypse happens, what are you going to do? That was a
Now I have to admit, when I saw that movie there, Impact, I'm looking at that cover and I'm thinking, okay, it's a badass cover. I can't wait to sink my teeth into it, right? And of
mm-hmm.
course, what happens? Always the same thing. He's not. I don't even think he even grabbed the damn weapon the whole in his scene, and he did that one scene, and that was it. And it was
And
just like, well, wait a minute, how come he's not on the cover? He was on the cover.
Right.
But uh, do you get mad when that happens? Is it one of those movies that you just like, Jesus, you just like, or is it just something you just like deal with and you just,
You,
you're a fan of the actor, so you'll hold on to it?
well, a little bit. I mean, I kind of, I wish for, especially like I said, for him to have more screen time because I think he's deserving of it. And but I don't necessarily hold it against the filmmakers because I get what they're doing. I mean, having the star power with a name like him or other people, that's going to get people to watch your movie that might not otherwise give it a chance. And you know, again with that one, I thought it ended up being a fun movie. It was just, it was a lot different than what I thought it was going to be based on that cover. And that's how it will turn out a lot of times. Is the cover might show you one thing and then you don't see anything remotely in the movie that looks like that cover.
No. Yeah, they have all those badass covers. They have a helicopters fighting or jet planes, and you're going like, yeah, the only things that only helicopters or planes are going to be one of those radio control ones,
Hmm.
or maybe a half-ass drone.
Yeah, yeah.
That's about it. But you know what? That's part of the charm. So how did you get roped into the two of the more popular series in our community? One, Dollar Tree Theater, and two, and Wild Eye Wednesdays. Who got you into doing Wild Eye Wednesdays? And what's been your favorite and the one movie you said, oh no, hell no.
Well, I mean, as far as the Dollar Tree Theater, I thought it was a great idea, and I saw all of y'all that were participating. Of course, Hobbs being one of the main ones that pushes that series, and it's just a good way to go through and watch these films and let other people know, if it's a good one they might be on the lookout for, or maybe if it's one they might want to stay away from, depending on how it turns out. But and of course, the Wild Eye, I really didn't do a lot of reviews on until this last Wild Eye week that we had, and but I definitely enjoyed, and this was one of the ones I reviewed that I enjoyed, that One Night in October.
Okay.
And again, it's one of the Halloween themed ones, to answer Hobbs's question, that I like. And the Barn movies would be another one. They've had a couple of those now. Uh, they're both set at Halloween, and they're not like the you Michael Myers type Halloween, but it's still a good Halloween themed movie. And yeah, I enjoyed them. And Wild Eye definitely has a lot of varied varied type movies, but
There's some.
I still try to find some entertainment value in it, even if it may not be as good of a plot or acting in it. But
Mhm. What are some of the movies that you've watched that you've just shaking your head at and go like, how the hell did I get here?
uh, I think there was one. I want to say I did a review on this, but it was like uh, it was called like Death Day or something, but it was kind of taking a. I think they were kind of trying to play off the Happy Death Day movies, uh, and of course it had a little bit of the same thing of her reliving, the actress that was in it reliving a certain part of a day over and over again, but it was just so hard to follow with the plot and everything in it. I was just more confused by the end of it than when I started. So that would be one, I guess, that kind of let me down because again, the cover of it was one that kind of drew me in, and so, but that's one I can think of right off hand though.
Uh, our good friend David's here. David Diggs, and he says hello to us. And so,
Yeah.
hi back to David and Sam. Uh, uh, you do know that David had the coolest background for when they were doing the coast to coast live streams. Um, he had Art the Clown, and he also had Sam from Trick or Treat for his background
Oh
figures.
yeah, nice.
Oh my God, yeah, it was awesome. Oh, it was awesome. And then I think David actually, tell you the truth, I think he was the first person that I know in our community that was actually he's the one that turned me on to Art the Clown. Nobody
Yeah.
else really. Yeah, he was the first one. He had the art and he was talking about it all the time and everything else, Terrifier, and else. He was like the first person I knew that was all about it.
Yeah,
And
David's got an awesome channel, and I really enjoy supporting him and what he's doing over there. And of course, I think it started. It was either going to be today or sometime this week. They're going to have a limited run where the first Terrifier was going to be shown in the theaters for the first
right,
time. So
right.
I think the closest one to me is probably about a hour drive away, though. So I don't know if I'll get to see it. Of course, I have it already on physical media, but I did see the second one last year, actually on Halloween night. I got to go see it, so that was a pretty cool experience.
He says art rules. I gotta agree with that because the thing that I really liked about art, which a lot of people neglected, when they're watching the first movie, they totally neglected this. But Art's a cat lover, and which is absolutely true. He loves cats. I mean, he
Yeah.
likes he there, and if you've seen the first one where he was in that abandoned building and there's cats everywhere, and
Hmm.
down with them, he's like, all right, what's going on. So art is cool with me. I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, now, if Art would have been stupid about it, then, might have to go talk to Art. But I like Art. I thought he was an interesting character. Um, has there been a movie yet that has actually shaken you to whereas you had turned it off, or it's shaken you like you wanted to talk about it to somebody right after you saw it?
Um. Well, I want to say it was one I'd heard about a while, and I'd not seen it, and it was. I think I ended up getting the magnet release. It's the Eyes of My Mother. I think is that. I don't know if you're familiar with that one or not, but it's that one really kind of shocked me. That movie, the things that happen in there. Uh, and like I had heard some reviews prior to seeing it, but once you actually are seeing it there, it's just it was kind of I've not had many movies that kind of affect me that way, but that was definitely one that I can say did once I finally saw it. But I try to stay away from a lot of the like ones I've heard people talk about, the Serbian film and stuff like that. I think
Yeah,
that's a little too extreme for me. So I've
it's
heard enough
hard.
about them to just stay away. So
It's hard because there's a thin line between torture porn and good horror. Like
hmm
like I consider like I Spit on Your Grave torture porn, but
yeah,
Terrifier I consider it a horror film. Even though I had a lot of torture scenes in it and a lot of violence, but there's a story behind it. There's a purpose for what it was.
right.
It still made it a hard watch, but it's still like you still okay. I understand. There's a story here, and
hmm
it wasn't there for the shock value. You know,
Right. And
um,
it's actually brought in a little bit of, I think, comedy even in the second one, in some of the scenes as well. They try to maybe lighten the mood a little, even though it is a lot
so
of gore and stuff that happens in it. But
let's see, Zan says that's how I felt about the Joker. Um, yeah, the Joker yeah. That. I think the only thing about the Joker I would tell folks, is it's what I would consider an Elseworld story. It's not set on the Batman universe. It's just DC and Marvel have multiverses. So what you see, like for Joker, may not be on the same planet or the same timeline as a Batman because. Like people were talking about the Joker, the movie, and they're talking about how they felt sorry for him. And it's just like you could tell that they never saw the character. They never understand the Joker. It's like the Joker and the Batman to the same extent. they're it's sort of like the lesser of two evils,
Hmm.
and you don't really know who it is. I mean, is it the Joker or is it Batman? I mean,
Right.
it's like we're always told that Batman's a hero, but is he really? I mean, really, is he really a hero? I mean, my opinion about that has really changed over the years after I got to appreciate more, watching Batman, and
Yeah.
I really appreciate during like the Dark Knight where he says, you won't kill me because you need me, and that really is true. It's like it's Batman keeps him around for solely selfish reasons.
Yeah.
He's
That's
not he's
true.
not really, he's not there to save us from the Joker, because if he did, he put a bullet in his brain instead
Hmm.
of sending him to Arkham.
Yeah.
That's what a true hero would do. Uh, yeah, it's interesting. Um, so some of the movies like a Serbian film, no, it's a no go for you. Uh,
Yeah. I'm just, I know a lot of people like to push themselves as far as what they can watch, but I'm okay with not having seen that one. So,
uh, what's the most upsetting film that you've watched where you've just like, I mean, like, you just turned it off and you just like never again.
well, I don't know that I've ever gotten that from you know most of the ones I've seen. I mean, it may have a gore in it or different things, but I guess any of those where there's something dealing with people being harmed, like you mentioned, the spit on your grave, or uh, there's that movie. I personally I haven't seen it, but Irreversible. I've heard a lot about that movie, and I've not yet seen it, but I assume that one's going to be a tough watch. That's why I'm kind of waiting till I'm
Yeah,
in that right mindset to kind of
yeah, I'm with you
even
there.
check it out.
Uh,
But
I have that movie and I have still yet to muster up the courage to watch it. Um, I won't. But then again, I turn around and watch the Martyrs, and which I loved, and then I recently saw this other Spanish film that's coming out later on called The Glass Table, and that one
mm-hmm.
had me. That one had me. I thought I was going to get sick watching that one. I haven't been.
Wow,
I haven't gotten sick from watching a horror film in forever, but I thought for sure I was going to lose it. I was going to be like, I was shocked.
yeah,
I was shocked because I was sitting there watching this movie. I'm just like, oh hell no, just no. And I thought I was going to just lose it. Uh, yeah, but you know what though? It's sort of weird to say this, but for Zan, it's The Exorcist. Shit, even today, The Exorcist is still a rocking. I think The Exorcist today, for me, as I watched it, it was more powerful now because when I watched it, it came across almost like a documentary, like true to life, and to me,
mm-hmm.
that's what made it really scary. It's like this could be a damn documentary, and it was
Yeah.
really,
The first time I saw The Exorcist, that was probably the most extreme one, I guess, at that time when I saw it that I had ever seen.
David says he's never seen a Serbian film, Audition, or Human Centipede. I can help you with the last one, David. We could do a watch party with the Human Centipede.
Oh no,
Well, I'm just saying, that's a pretty badass movie. I have to sit there and say it's one that have you talking. Um, uh, how do you do your reviews? What do you break down a review for us? Tell us what goes into a review for you. What do you look for? And when you do write a good review versus a bad review, what makes a what? How do you judge a movie to where it's a good movie or versus a bad movie?
well, I think for the most part, the reviews I've done, which I know I've not done near as many as I'd like to do, and the main thing is because I like to put a lot into it, and I guess with when I'm doing a haul video, I can throw one of those up pretty quick, with some minor editing. But I try to be as respectful as I can, and it really comes down to the point, was I entertained or not? Is the way I look at it. And if I was entertained, I would say, you know, you should give it a watch. You know, it's at least entertaining. But I think there was one negative review I did during the Wild Eye Week that I actually kind of started questioning after the fact, like, well, maybe I was a little rough on this film. And I'm determined I'll go back for a second watching and see if maybe I just did I miss something or what.
What movie was that?
Uh, I'm trying to remember. I wanted to say it was the one I did on like day 3. I'm trying to remember the name right offhand, but I can't at this moment. But I just know I had saw some comments from some folks on it talking about what they enjoyed of it, and I was like, well, maybe I was just a little too rough on it. So, but I didn't take it down, so it's not like I felt like I trashed them or nothing. I just basically said I think I didn't get it or
was it
something.
Bone Hill Road?
No, it wasn't that one. I really enjoyed that one.
Okay. See, don't fuck in the woods. Bundy Reborn.
I think
Bone
that
Hill.
was it. I think it was Bundy Reborn.
Okay. Okay. Because you did Bone Hill Road, Dark Tales, One Night in October, and Christmas Massacre,
Right.
and Amityville. And which Amityville did you get?
I think that
Uh,
was the Clown House, maybe.
how did you survive that?
I mean, I I thought it was okay. I mean,
Oh my gosh, Dustin Ferguson strikes again. Oh
yeah.
my, yeah.
I've
I
been
have.
delving into getting more of these Amityville themed movies. So,
That's hilarious. Amityville are funny as hell. Oh yes, there was a remake of Martyrs. Yes, the American version of Martyrs is absolutely hated. Let's see. Oh, thank you so much, Jason. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. You're welcome to come back anytime, anytime. And I'm glad for your support. I appreciate it. That's right. That's right. They did remake Martyrs from the French version, the original French version, and they made an American version of it too. They did
oh,
that with
okay.
the movie Inside too. Inside there was like I think it's French, and then they made an American version of it. I actually have the American version of it, and I got it because I had Laura Herring in it, and I heard that it was not very good. I have not watched it
Hmm.
after I heard that, but I like Laura Herring, so I went ahead and got it. Um, so I don't know, but yeah, have heard the American version of Martyrs is just terrible. It's because it's a hard movie to watch. It's a very hard movie to watch. Um, so writing a negative review, sometimes you'll do the video and then come back and wonder if you second guessed it. I've done a couple of those. I've done a couple of reviews where you know, going back to it, I've looked back and going like maybe I was just a little bit too harsh on that. Um, it is a fine line. Do you think? I mean, who are some of your favorite channels in regards to reviewing? And
Um,
we can't put Jason in there. Horrific nightmares. We can't put him in there because he loves everything.
well, I
Jason, if
mean,
you're hearing this, you know I'm right. So, but he
they
loves everything.
they look for positives. They have the positive spin series. They do, you know. But I love hearing Mr. Bones do his. Another channel, Red Rusty. He does these. I think he calls it "Scream with Me" is the series he does, but he does in-depth reviews of all his movies that he watches, and he's just he's one you can put it on, listen, and he makes it very entertaining, and he has fun with his reviews. So he's another one that I like. And of course, I love hearing Hobbs his different reviews and the way he has the little uh, movie entrance to "Let's Go Out to the Lobby." I think that's always a nice touch to because it brings back that nostalgia, as
Yeah.
well of seeing things. But those are some I know that I like checking out whenever I see them drop a new video.
I think let's see. Davis mentioning he joined late, so he missed the beginning. What was the let's expand this a little bit. Let's expand this because we'll have fun with this. What are the 5 horror movies that got you into the genre? 5. Give me your top 5 horror movies. Like if you're going to be on a desert island for 10 years, which 5 movies would you take with you?
Oh man. Uh,
Oh yeah.
well, John Carpenter's The Thing is probably the top one, and I think I've mentioned that numerous times when I've had people ask about what's one of my favorite movies. So that's going to be one of them. Then let me think. I really like the movie The Stuff. I know it was more or less kind of a commentary on consumerism and things like that, but just the whole way that movie played out. I know it's kind of silly a little bit, but I've always enjoyed that one. Of course, I'm a big Friday the 13th fan, so uh, Friday the 13th Part 2 was the one I really, it's still to this day one of the ones I like the most. That's the sack head Jason.
Right.
First time we get to see him really, and that's definitely another one that's always been one that I like going back to. Um, and then I'm trying to think how many is that already?
That's 2. So I think we're gonna. Didn't you mention you're gonna put in Emeryville Clown Toy Box in there?
Well, I haven't seen Amityville Toy Box, but
Oh,
I
you
did.
haven't seen it yet.
I have seen some reviews for it though.
Oh, you
So
watched Clown House. Okay, so Amityville Clown House.
yeah, I
Would that be
saw
one of
that
your
one.
5?
I've also seen the Clown Motel one. That was an interesting one. I think there's been different ones that are set at that location, but
Do clowns bother you? Are you afraid of clowns? There's a lot of
uh,
people. There's a lot of people that actually get creeped out
I'm
by.
okay with clowns. I mean, I can see how people get freaked out by them, but I'm okay with it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is another one, the original. Uh, that's
Yeah,
one that I've liked. Had different, pretty much every iteration of that on physical media. So that had to be another one I add in there. And
I
then
was hoping they would do the. I was hoping that they would do the release of the remake or the continuity. The new one. I was hoping that I was supposed to be getting the physical release, but I guess it didn't. I heard it was pretty interesting. Short, but interesting.
right. Are you talking about the one that was on Netflix, or is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard it was. I saw the ending of it, and I was like, "Damn, that's pretty rough." Um, but it was like, okay, well, can you release it now so I can watch? So I can go ahead and watch it.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't released it yet. Okay, give us 2 more movies that I have you on your desert island. Didn't have to be horror. Remember, it doesn't. Oh, I guess it did say horror. So yeah, so 2 more horror movies. Two more.
Um, I gotta throw. I gotta throw some Stuart Gordon in there. So From Beyond would be one I would throw in there.
Hmm.
The whole H.P. Lovecraft tie-in there, which he's done other ones, of course, but that's one that I've liked for a long time. And then you got to have some Halloween in there, but I have an affinity for Part 3. I know a lot of people don't like it because it doesn't
That's
have
my
Michael
favorite.
Myers in it,
That's my favorite one.
but I like Halloween 3. That's one I've liked. So
That's my
there,
favorite Halloween movie and the franchise. I love Halloween too. Mr. Dan Horror walking in. Hello, Dan. Hello, hello.
I appreciate that, Mr. Dan.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I'm with you. I'm a. Oh, and the bat is here. Oh, hell yes, the bat.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that's right, the bat. Al Lucard.
I always love seeing the movies he gets from Horror Pack.
Oh yes, yes. He's very much one of us too in the terms of boy some of the stuff that we watch. I mean,
Him and Monty G both I like to see
oh
their.
yes, yes. I'm always over there busting Monty's chops because he's an A24 guy. So I go always going over there and like give him a hard time. Do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite label? I mean, is it Screen Factory? Is it IFC, A24, Severin, Vinegar
Oh
Syndrome?
well,
Wow.
I've got a lot of Vinegar Syndromes, but and they've definitely opened up me to a lot of movies that I don't remember when they came out initially, and some people might say they're bad movies. They're definitely not going to be ones that you'd see in a theater. A lot of these are rescued from VHS days, uh, but I like a lot of the Vestron, that series, collect series. That's one I've gotten every one of those thanks to Diabolic DVD. I was able to get the last few that I needed uh, to get that collection complete until they
Yeah. Oh, that's
add
very.
the newer ones. So
Um, yeah, those come out from Lionsgate. Those are really fun to watch. I've gotten a couple of them, but I have I probably should have gotten a few more, uh, but I definitely agree with you. That's actually a really good series to get and
hmm
very
yeah,
reasonable. Like $12
yeah, and
for every piece. That's
it's
one
been
of the
a
cheap.
lot of different types of films too. Not all horror even. So
Oh, I think for the for being one of the being pushed by a major studio, but Lionsgate, I think Vestron probably has the most affordable boutique label as far as buying brand new, and they put out excellent films.
oh yeah,
I got Shivers and I got Night of the Creeps. I got both those on Vestron and very cool. Good one. I mean, um, what movies would you if someone came up to you and said, "All right, how do I get into this movie business collecting game?" I mean, like I see the movies that you review, and I want to get some of them. I want to get into it, and because physical media appeals to me. What are some of the do's and don'ts would you tell somebody who's just getting into collecting?
well, I would say don't think that you've got to have the latest and greatest. Like if you find it on DVD and that's good enough for you, that's fine. You don't have to spring for the 4K newest release if you don't want to. I mean, it's just what makes the most sense to you financially, I guess, is the biggest thing because a lot of times you can find the deals on titles on DVD that you're not going to find on others. Like I know Walmart's gotten this habit of some of these Shutter releases. They'll release the DVD for $10, or you can get it on a Blu-ray steelbook for 25. So
Hmm.
it's the same movie. So what makes more sense to you? I'm not really that big of a steelbook person. Some people are, uh, but it really just depends on if it's a movie you like and the packaging and the slip covers and all that's nice. Like going back to Vinegar Syndrome, like I recently got this one. That is an awesome release of this movie, and some people like it, some people don't. But yeah, I mean it's the packaging on this is key. And a lot of people are like, well, what about the movie? But this is part of the experience, I think. So that's just me. But of course, that kind of thing is going to set you back some money more than the one you find at Walmart or Dollar Tree or somewhere like that.
Yeah. Some of the bigger boutiques, like Screen Factory or Arrow or what have you, they can be, you could, man, they can be pretty pricey. But I like your hauls though because you do both. You're a little bit of a boutique bala, but at the same time, you're very much like us in the fact that you look for the bargains. You're not afraid to go to big lots, or you're not afraid to go to a Dollar Tree. It seems like
Right.
almost some collectors are sort of like almost ashamed to know that their collections have come from lower end lower end stores. Like I got this movie, like Louisa Warren, to go out there and champion her. A lot of the people that are, in some of the boutique labels, like follow those streams or what have you, they would never be caught having a movie like that in their collection, or have it being shown. Um, it's all about it's all like I mentioned earlier, about being on the bandwagon per se. It's like, they got to have the best of the best. I got to have this, $60 Roadhouse. I can't be caught. You're never going to see a $1.25 movie in my collection. You're never going to see that, even though the movie could be an outstanding one. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know, but I mean, you and we can relate to being blind buyers. Um, we go there and we buy based on certain criteria, but we're willing to do that. We're willing to take a chance to do that. And
Yeah.
I think places like Dollar Tree allow a collector to do that. Like you can't go to a Severin or an Arrow or a Screen Factory and just sit there and say, yeah, I'm just gonna buy this because I want to see what it looks like. You're not really gonna get, I don't think I've actually heard anybody saying that. I've never heard anybody say, yeah, I'm gonna spend, $200 or $300 just because the cover looks cool. you know um you, like I could go there, and you and I have done that, Dollar Tree movies, and we gone there and looked at it and like, okay, Wild Eye movies, same thing.
Hmm.
I would tell people get into that. It's like, stay away from the boutiques. um and probably try to avoid the double dipping. If you can not do that as well, because the boutique labels are notorious for that.
Yeah. I think, as I mentioned earlier with Screen Factory, I mean, they've not been releasing a lot of newer titles, except for occasionally they'll have one that's like limited to 1,500. They'll release certain ones like that, but most of what they're doing now is just releasing ones they've already done on to 4K now. And
Right.
of course, that price has jumped up there from what you could have got the Blu-ray DVD combo from some years back now. So again,
David mentions, nice. He's got that movie, same artwork, but not that nice packaging. Mr. Dana Hoare says, I also like rolling the dice at Dollar Tree. You can be pleasantly surprised by something you never heard of. Man,
mhm.
that you ain't kidding. That was me at my video store at Family Video. Man, I go on there and they used to have 10 for 10 sales. Man, I go in there, and that's how I got into IFC. I go there and I was the 10 for 10 sale. I was just buying them.
Right.
And then I started watching them. I'm like, oh, hello, yes, this is awesome. These guys put out amazing movies.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've had such good experiences from some of the IFC titles that I look for them when I outplace. I want to see, and like when I got this one here, the Den, that was one I was happy to come across, and it's kind of that found footage type movie, but it was really entertaining. And
Now, did you get that one off? Did you get that one from Dollar Tree, or did you get that one from? Where'd you get that one at?
I
Uh,
think I think I actually came across this one at a local store that's near me. It's called Replays, but I get a
hmm,
lot of movies from there because basically it's a trade type place people can trade in or sell and resell, and it's kind of like a smaller version, like a Second and Charles, I guess,
right.
where they have mostly movies, some video games, other things, but I found quite a few titles from there, and I think that's where I ended up finding that one at.
That's nice. I actually don't have that one yet. Let's see. Rob is here. Hi, Rob. How are you? All right. Rob's Vintage Videos
Rob's
here.
Vintage,
Uh,
nice.
and of course, Rick knows this very well. Movie hunting is the best. Uh, and Rick knows that because he runs Underground Sobrosa. So if you want to get if you're hunting for the extreme in horror, Definitely want to go ahead and get on Rick's channel, sub to
Okay.
that. And then yeah, Rick is the man. Him and his wife run an awesome company. They put the extreme horror out there. Like, sir, well, just be careful. He might try to slide in a copy of the Serbian film on you. Just to let me know that. Rick, I think you should slide a copy of Headless in with Haas's order.
Okay.
Let's see. Al misses when he's in a rotten mood. Movie hunting cheers me up. Um,
Yeah.
I enjoy it. Every Tuesday, I get up. I go there. I sit for an hour and a half. They open the door, and I go in there, and everybody's going to the books, and I go straight to the movies. And at 25 cents per movie, I am filling up my bag.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You have gotten quite a few good and TV series and all kind of good deals you've gotten. So yeah.
So do you got a stack of movies that you can show us that some of your favorites that you got going on? I'd like to see some of the ones that you that are Haas approved. I'm sure
Well,
everybody here wants to see some of the City of the Living Dead Blu-ray 4.95 at Blue. Wow, well, I'm gonna go pick that up. I'm gonna go pick that up tonight.
oh okay.
Because we covered that. We covered the Fulci trilogy. Me and the cat, the bat, on the Midnight Society. We covered the trilogy. We like the Beyond first, and then City of the Living Dead, and then House by the Cemetery.
Okay. Yeah, those are all good, and I think I've got all of
Beyond,
those as well.
the ending of the Beyond is still a top 20 ending horror film ending. That'll
Hmm.
always be that ending of the Beyond is amazing.
Well, I showed a lot of the ones that I had pulled out here already, I guess, but I did want to show a couple. Like I like Ralph Bakshi. I don't know how familiar you are with his material, but he did a lot of animated. Well, I guess would be considered adult animation
Ralph
films.
Bakshi. Oh
Yeah.
God, yes, Wizard,
Okay. Yeah.
Wizard. Oh,
Well, I have a few. I like this one here. I like the release. This is one that Shout did. The Heavy Traffic was one of his, and it's like a, I guess, city set in the city. You know, it's a kind of a
yeah,
interesting one there. And then another one I got from it's an eBay pickup there. But hey, good looking. That's another one set back like in the 50s. I just love his overall animation style and
yes.
the storytelling that he does.
I know.
American Pop's another good one. Uh, but and I'll show
I know
another
everybody jumped all over Ralph Bakshi for they love him for Fritz the Cat.
Fritz
And
the Cat.
yeah, but for me, it's always will be Wizards.
Yeah,
That's just
and
an
he
amazing
was
movie.
very controversial in a lot of the movies that he made, and some
Yeah,
people like to tear him apart, and definitely you could say a lot of those couldn't be made today for sure. But
I
I
would
still,
hope that honestly, I think Wizards now is just as important today as it was when it was released.
yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, Wizards is yeah, we should actually I would like to see someone actually re-release that and make it affordable.
Hmm.
That thing too. When you get an important movie or a documentary, you sort of wish that they would actually like swallow their profits in order to get it out. Like a Wizards. It's like that's a great movie, or a movie that we covered on the Society. We cover Fahrenheit 451. And we just like I'd like to see that some of those movies get re-released, or some label give them the Criterion treatment, and re-release it and make it if you did this Criterion, yeah, it's going to be a little bit expensive, but at least you're going to get a ton of facts. You're going to get a ton of goodness on the disc, a lot of knowledge, commentaries, what have you. I don't mind paying for something like that. Like when they have the half off Criterion sale. I don't
Mm-hmm.
mind going ahead and getting the Criterion that way because they do such a good job in packaging and putting the special features on. Um, all right, man, I'm that is so cool. Thank you for that information, Mr. Dan. And Sarah says she forgot to mention Vinegar Syndrome and Kino Lorber as well. Let's see. Yes, I do collect. I'm trying to collect Criterion movies. Yeah, yeah. Sarah's got a great collection. She's
She
got a
does.
she's got an amazing collection. Um, yeah, she's got some really cool movies in there, and a lot of TV series.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit for our last couple of questions here, Haas. So tell
Okay.
us a little bit of what's going on with your channel. What do you got coming on your channel for the next maybe week or two?
Well, I know I've got at least another collection video or two I've got to get put out there. But I do have some movies that I've watched within the past week or so. I'm going to try to get some more reviews out there because I enjoy doing those, and I like just getting the word out there on some of these movies because I tried to pick ones that I've not really seen a lot of reviews about, and that's really one thing I try to do is not just do what everybody else is doing. I'm trying to
Yeah,
just pick ones from my collection. Like, oh, I haven't really seen a review about this, or not one recently. I know there's quite a few that I've done that others have done as well, but yeah, I do have some reviews lined up that I'm going to be trying to get out within this next week or so. So, but
I like doing that too, Haas. I like reviewing movies that don't get talked about or reviewed. That's for one of the reasons why I really enjoy about the Bat. He covers some weird shit too. That David Heavener, I never heard of that guy at all, and yet here I am watching the Bat, and he's saying, "Well, if you haven't seen David Heavener movies yet," and then he had him on for an interview, and I was like, this is so awesome.
mm-hmm,
that that guy was he was different, that's for sure.
yeah.
Um, all right, last question for you, and give you a chance to get back a little bit. Give us 5 channels that you really like and support that you feel could use a little love.
Um, well, one I think I mentioned earlier uh, is his name. Well, the full channel name is Horror and Metal Maestro Red Rusty 66. So that's one that I watch. Kenny's Movie Palace is another newer where he started making videos. He's been doing his What's in the Box series, which I really enjoyed. Basically, it's him going through his whole movies that he still got in box he hadn't put out yet.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
so
did that. Red
I would
Thin.
definitely mention him as well. Um, I'm trying to think. Oh, I got to mention the Ice Lord. I've been seeing a lot of his reviews here lately, and I enjoy his way he edits those together and that booming "I am the Ice Lord." You know that part.
Yeah,
You
welcome.
gotta love that.
Yeah,
And
welcome to the ninth circle of crazy. That's what I on every Friday. Yeah, that's been fun. The Ice Lord is mighty.
Miranda's Movie Madness is another one that I've seen. She's doing a lot of collection videos, and she's all the time looking for deals like yourself and me and others. So she's another one that I would say you need to check out if you haven't seen. And I think she does mostly the collection videos, but that would be another. And then of course the ones I've already mentioned, which I think most everybody in here should be subscribed to. Bronco Juggalo, can't forget him. I mean, he
Yep,
puts
yep.
out a lot of great reviews as well. And
He's another reviewer that reviews is on his own. He doesn't he reviews a lot of obscure stuff. Um,
mm-hmm,
yeah, and he's the one that started the Wild Eye Week. So that's something that Brad has done. He does it twice a year, and everybody goes out there and gets you know watches 5 to 7 Wild Eye movies and reviews them. I ran out of Wild Eyes. I've Yeah, Rob because I do reviews. I did reviews for him, and it's like one of the Wild Eye guys. But I, I always told him right at the front. I said, I'll just do honest reviews. I'm always going to be honest with you. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
so I
Yeah.
I reviewed, and some of the movies were a little bit too honest, and so I'm just calling it like it is.
Yeah, I
And
think there was a sale. I'm trying to remember who had it, but that was where I got a lot of my wild eyes from. There was like a lot of them that were like $1, or some of them were a little bit more than that, but they had them
I might
on,
do
a lot
that.
of them on sale.
I actually might do that next time. I do like some Wild Eyes. I've gotten a few recommendations from actually none other than Joe the Horror Man. He's the one that recommended a house on Cuckoo Lane. That's an excellent movie. That's my favorite Wild Eye movie.
Mm-hmm.
The Blast of Pastor, and Carousel. So there's been some really fun IFC movies. Strawberry Chocolate Vanilla, Cat Sick Blues, also really really strong. And of course, there's some that aren't, and that's okay. It makes the world go around. All right, so I put Haas's information and down below. His channel is right above there. I'll put it down again, though. I think you guys have all. I see the people in the room, and I think you guys all have subbed to Haas. But I'm going to go ahead and put the link down again for replay. Um, Feel free to come back and drop a comment if you like the show or not. Come back and drop a comment. Comments do help. If you can, if you want to come back and if you want to come back and actually taking this back real quick. Sorry, one quick thing. Where are we going? There we go. Okay, so you're getting close to 200 subs. We're gonna have to probably think about doing a push for you to get
Yeah,
you.
I did that contest a little while back, and of course, I wasn't expecting to hit that goal right when I did it, but it was just more or less just to give some
Because the
something back to everybody.
content
Which I think you won some of those titles in that
you did.
contest, but
I did.
uh,
Yes. Are you going to be doing another contest? Are you going to be doing another contest for 200
I
or
think I think I may get something else worked out because I have some other titles that I've set aside to be kind of as gifts. So yeah, there's definitely going to be another giveaway coming up uh,
okay.
in the coming months, anyways. But
If
it's
you can
all
find,
again just sharing titles with others and just showing appreciation to all of y'all because y'all been so welcoming to me. And I just want
oh,
to say it's an honor to me for you to have me on here. I have a
oh
lot of
no,
respect for you and what you do with your channel and the
thank you.
interviews you do and just the knowledge you have. So I really appreciate it.
I have a lot of fun, and I'm really blessed and the chance to talk to some really really cool people such as yourself. Um, I'm still waiting for the bat to fly off on Sunday so I can get Sundays going again. I see the bat here, and it just makes my heart go like, we got to do Sundays again. The cat and the bat need to reunite. But I
Uh
might
huh.
have something. I'm gonna throw something your way off camera. I was thinking about this when I was setting this interview up, and as I was thinking about it, I'm going like, you know what? I got something to throw his way. I'm gonna see if he's gonna jump on it. But I'm gonna ask you off camera, give you a chance to think about it.
Oh, okay.
But that will be our time for today. I want to thank everybody who came out to support Haas. He's got a great channel, great content. He is an IFC movie fan. That right there is more than enough to get your asses up and hitting that subscribe button right there. He also does Wild Eye Week. He's done Dollar Tree Theater, and he does Wild Eye Wednesday. So and a lot of fun haul videos. He is very much like us. He's all about the hunt. It's not about the high price. It's all about finding the good ones. So I really do appreciate you and your collection. And so how are the Tide going to do this year? Are they gonna re-roll in Tide or not?
Well, I mean, they've got a lot of new personnel in there. We've got two new coordinators, and still trying to have a little bit of a QB battle. So it should be an interesting year. It's going to be a totally different team as it is every year because of players going to the NFL and now with the NIL
Now,
deals, that's changed things a lot. But I expect it'll be a good season. But again,
I think you guys will be definitely in the top four.
I would think so. But I mean, that gap's narrowed a lot from how it used to be. There's a
Yeah,
lot more competitiveness, and with the playoff expanding next year, I think it's going to make things get even more interesting and give some teams a shot that may not have gotten one otherwise. So I'm
yeah. The
definitely
pressure to win,
hopeful for the future.
the pressure to win in the SEC has never been greater. I mean, you saw Tennessee's wheels came off, and I suspect Georgia will be pretty soon to be falling off as well too. The pressure on those kids. Everybody
It's
wants.
hard to stay on top forever.
Yeah. Well, with the playoff expanded to 12 teams next year, San Jose State might get a chance to go dancing. So
That's
I'm,
true.
I'm, I'm looking forward to that. All
Oh
right.
yeah.
Tomorrow night we will be talking to actor Douglas Epps. He will be back here for the first time since forever, and he is actually the star of Bone Hill Road. By the way, in case you want to come back and check that out with us tomorrow night, he will be here at 8 o'clock. And we'll talk horror movies, we'll talk animals, we'll talk all sorts of good things with our good friend Douglas Epps. He's one of the very nicest people I've ever met in this business as far as interviewing goes. And I'm looking forward to catching up with him tomorrow. And then that is it for this week. We won't be back till next week, and we'll be back next Monday, the 24th, with actress Jessica Dawn Willis will be joining us. She is a fine young actress, and she's got a new movie out called The Woman Underneath the Stage, along with Silhouette, which is also excellent. And she will be here on the 24th. On the 26th, we are welcoming in artist Lazy Cheetah. He'll be here on the 26th to 27th. I will be interviewing the Reverend Horace Sheffield. He is a civil rights activist, social crusader from Detroit, one of the bright, shining lights in the city. And he'll be here on the 27th. And I really hope that I hope I can hold my own there. He's a powerful man and a man I highly respect, and it's going to be a real honor to have a chance to talk to him. I didn't think I could get somebody like that, but um, thanks to everybody else who's come before him, I was.
Sounds great.
On the 29th, we have another YouTube creator. We'll be back on the Saturday, the 29th. We've talked to our friends Alan and Jennifer from Jennifer at Home YouTube channel. They're really some of the sweetest people. All right. Thanks so much for watching. Stay right where you're at. To the chat, thank you so much. We will talk to you guys tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Be safe. Peace.